What tweak? Tweak my ass.
The pain.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let us start with a gift. We were given a baseball gift, and personally, I want to thank the Red Sox and the Dodgers, because last night, and maybe 2% of you know this, my basketball team took my soul out of me, crushed it on the ground, and then flushed it in the toilet. And I don't care if it's October 26th last night, losses like that pain you, and so if I had to go to sleep after a loss like that, it would have been very difficult to ever go to sleep. It would have been one of those tossing and turning kind of nights. But luckily, I didn't have to go to sleep. In fact, I didn't have to go to sleep for another 4 hours because we got a baseball game that I'm not sure how we're going to remember it, because here's the thing about classic postseason games. We usually remember the games based on how the series goes. Does that make any sense? So I'll give you an example. If the Boston Red Sox win tonight and then they close it out tomorrow, I think what we witnessed last night and this morning becomes a footnote. It becomes there was that 18-inning game in Game 3. That was crazy. Now, if the Dodgers win the next 3 games, we'll be talking about that as the incredible turning point in the Los Angeles Dodgers breaking their drought and winning a championship for the first time since 1988. And Red Sox fans will be bemoaning it, and who knows what they'll be saying about Alex Cora. So like most things in life, whether it's in history or in sports, the way we view last night will be dictated by the way the rest of this thing goes. It will be dictated by the winner. Now, before I get to the 18th inning, or the 15th inning, or the 11th inning, can I tell you where this game and this series may have changed in a weird way? The bottom of the 5th. Now, hear me out on this, because you're probably thinking, what the bottom of the 5th? What the heck happened in the bottom of the 5th? Here's what happened in the bottom of the 5th. Something that a lot of managers have done throughout the postseason, and that is aggressively go to their bullpen. Go to their bullpen at a moment in a game in which if you're sitting there and watching it, you're thinking, are you really going to your bullpen? So in the bottom of the 5th inning, Rick Porcello, who had been fine to this point, gives up a base hit to Yasmani Grandal. Okay, fine. He then gets Chris Taylor to fly out on a ball that was hit pretty hard, and then he strikes out the opposing pitcher, Walker Buehler. There's a runner on first. There's 2 outs. It's the 5th inning. It's a 1-0 game. Rick Porcello's pitch count is low, to the point where you're not even thinking about the pitch count. The pitch count's not even going through your mind because it's in the 60s. Why are you thinking about the pitch count in the 5th inning? And out comes Alex Cora. Because Alex Cora felt, third time around the order, I got Eduardo Rodriguez, who I have effectively turned into a loogie, as they call it, a left-handed specialist. Let me go out. Let me overmanage this thing. Let me treat every out like it's the bottom of the 9th of Game 7. And let me go make some moves. Let me go use my bullpen. And here's the thing. It's not that it backfired at that moment. Because Eduardo Rodriguez came in and he struck out Jock Peterson. He did his job. And the Boston Red Sox bullpen, which was much maligned by not just me, but by Red Sox fans, proceeded to be awesome. That's what it proceeded to be. Whether it was Joe Kelly for an inning, or Ryan Brazier for an inning, or Matt Barnes for an inning. We even saw David Price come in, and he was shaky, but he had a big pickoff, technically a caught stealing. Craig Kimbrell came in, and he made things exciting, but he got 4 outs. Heath Hembree came in, he got 3 outs. But because this game was tied, and because Alex Cora was so aggressive using his bullpen and not maximizing what he could have gotten out of Rick Porcello, here he was being forced to have to go to his Game 4 starting pitcher. And not only go to his Game 4 starting pitcher, doing so pretty early in the game. And by early in the game, I mean, who would have known that the 12th inning was early? But games like this can happen. In fact, they happen throughout the regular season. And so when you're managing super aggressively in the 5th inning, when you probably didn't need to manage super aggressively in the 5th inning, that may backfire later in the game. Now, the game went 18 innings. I understand that. He was probably going to have to go to a guy like Nady Eovaldi anyway. But he could have gotten significantly more out of Rick Porcello. This was not Game 7. He managed like it was Game 7, and to Cora's credit, he admitted he was going to manage like it was Game 7. I think it was Tom Verducci who had one of those in-game reports saying, spoke to Alex Cora before the game, and he said, we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to managing, not worrying about tomorrow. Here's the problem. There is tomorrow, and there's a day after that. And so, while if the Red Sox won this game, sure, they're in a great spot. They're up 3-0. The odds are they're not going to blow it. They're not going to pull an 0-4 Yankees and an 0-4 Red Sox. I get all that. I just didn't think it was necessary to have to manage as aggressively as he did early in the game. Now, did I have a problem with him going to David Price? Not really. I didn't even have a problem with the whole Nady Eovaldi thing. But it was more that he unnecessarily went to his bullpen as early as he did. And one of the advantages that the Dodgers had last night is that Walker Buehler was able to go 7 scoreless innings, which in this postseason is the equivalent of Babe Ruth pitching all 14 innings of that 14-inning 1916 World Series game between Brooklyn and Boston. But Walker Buehler, and he deserves a lot of credit, and here's why I give him credit, not just the 7 scoreless innings, which is obvious, but Walker Buehler had to throw 18 pitches to the first 2 batters of the game. And he got them both out. But this is baseball in 2018, and the Red Sox are a really good example of this. They're going to work deep counts. They're going to battle you. So even when you pitch a 1-2-3 top of the first inning, as Walker Buehler did, he threw 25 pitches to do so. And I kept that in my brain as it happened, thinking, hey, maybe they're going to get him out of the game in the 5th inning. They're going to make him throw a ton of pitches. That wasn't the case, because he was able to be a lot more economical after that. He ended up throwing 108 through 7 innings. And Buehler delivered in a really, really big way. So the Dodgers are handing the ball to their bullpen in the 8th inning, and the Red Sox are handing the ball to the bullpen in the 5th inning. Inherently, a big edge right there for LA. But Kenley Jansen comes in. He tries to pull a Mariano Rivera, and here's the reality. Kenley Jansen, hold on, I have to do this right. I've got to get this right. I know Mariano Rivera, sir. And you, Kenley Jansen. No, hold on. I know Mariano Rivera, sir. I've interviewed Mariano Rivera. And you, Kenley Jansen, know Mariano Rivera. Nobody's Mariano Rivera. So Kenley Jansen gives up a 2-out home run to Jackie Bradley Jr. And the Red Sox fan is pumped up. And then we proceeded to watch a ridiculous baseball game. And you know what was so ridiculous about this? Can I get a little old school for you? So in the top of the 13th inning, Brock Holt leads off with a walk. And he steals second. So the Red Sox are set up with a runner on second and nobody out. And the thought is, do you bunt with Nunez? You got Bradley coming up and Vasquez coming up. And then you got Leon. I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe you do say, hey, let Eduardo Nunez go get a base hit. And as I'm thinking about what I would do, Nunez hits a little topper towards the mound, which effectively was going to be a bunt. That's what it was going to be. The problem was, and it was Alexander makes the bad throw to first base. Now, what is old school about what I'm about to say? And because we saw the 13th inning as well, the bottom of the 13th inning, when you put bat on ball, sometimes good things can happen. That's why striking out a million times matters, and it's bad. So when the Red Sox are striking out in the 16th inning, and one of those strikeouts was Nady Eovaldi, so I'm not going to kill him for it, but Bogart's striking out and Kinsler's striking out. You put bat on ball, as both the Red Sox and Dodgers proved, and you force the defense to make a play, bad things can happen. And what was so huge after that run scored was not only the fact that Xander Bogaerts couldn't come through with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but it was when Sandy Leon, of all people, who is not going to remind you of Johnny Bench offensively, when he doubles into the right field corner, if Nunez is even 60% healthy, he scores, the Red Sox are up by 2. But Nunez had this wild, wild day. Because think about it. When Brock Holt stole second base, you saw something you rarely see. Nunez got hurt because the catcher Barnes, in his effort to go get the baseball, which was in front of him, flipped over Eduardo Nunez. So Nunez gets flipped over by the catcher. In the bottom of that same inning, he's flying into the stands, making a really good catch, which I'll get to in a second. And before that, in the 13th inning, on that infield hit, he's belly flopping to first base. And Nunez, the whole time, you knew had to stay in this game because the Red Sox had nobody left. So when Bogaerts taps out, my thought is this. Look, I think the Red Sox are going to win, but boy, oh boy, did they blow an opportunity. Between Nunez not being able to score on the Leon hit, and now Bogaerts, one of your better hitters with bases loaded, 2 outs, they may regret this. And in the bottom of the 13th inning, they did. Because Max Muncy draws that walk, Machado flies out, okay, no big deal, and then how about this play? The most relevant foul pop-up you'll see. Bellinger pops up. Nooney makes this great play. Yankee fans are thinking, are you serious? Nunez is making a great play. Flips over into the stands because he can't stop himself. And really, really good base running by Max Muncy. This base running move by Muncy, no exaggeration, bigger than the home run. Because without the base running move by Muncy, this game is probably over. He gets to second. And then what does Puig do? He puts bat on ball. And I admit, I'm not facing Puig. I know I'm putting the winning run on base. I got a choice between Yasiel Puig and Austin Barnes. I'm not facing Yasiel Puig. Hits the ball up the middle. Kinsler makes a nice play. And then the disaster strikes because he can't keep his footing, makes a terrible throw, and we got a tie game. And we have a tie game because Max Muncy knew on that foul pop-up with Nunez falling into the stands, take second base. Take second base. It's exactly what he did. The rest of these extra innings didn't give you much. I know that the Sox had a great opportunity in the 15th inning when they had 2 on and nobody out, and Vasquez lays down the bunt, and Kenta Maeda makes a tremendous play, a risky play, tremendous play, getting the lead runner, and then both Leon and Betts can't come through. And it felt on both sides there was a lot of swinging for the fences as this game continued on. Meanwhile, putting bat on ball can do great things. It gave the Red Sox the lead temporarily in the 13th inning, and bat on ball is essentially what tied the game for the Dodgers. Yet it felt as if it was swing for the fences, swing for the fences, swing for the fences, and then finally, Max Muncy swung for the fences, and it worked. And we had ourselves a baseball game that if it was a regular game in June, probably would have featured position players pitching. If it was a regular season game in June, Pete Hoffman and I, who's producing today's show, would be breaking down the fantasy impact of that game. But we'd still be talking about it because it would be crazy that there was this 18-inning, 7-hour baseball game. But this was Game 3 of the World Series. And based on what happens over the next 4 days, we'll see where this falls in history. Because if the Red Sox respond, then this goes into the dustpan of history. That's where it goes. It's just this kind of cool moment. Okay, great. Red Sox won anyway. But if this leads the Dodgers to winning Game 4 and eventually winning this series, this will go down, I'm not saying in the same league necessarily as Kirk Gibson, but it's not very far off in a very different kind of way. What a night. Thank you, baseball, for distracting me from the Brooklyn Nets' ineptitude over the final minute of their basketball game last night. Thank you.